Heather Mills is in the studio at her own request because you've had enough, haven't you, really?
I've had enough. I've so had enough. I've had 18 months of absolute abuse. And then they tried to ruin my daughter's birthday party, which I spent ages organising, saying I'd killed the dog next door, which
this
was
was in yesterday's Sun, wasn't it?
Complete load of rubbish. I ended up being in contact with the lady. She'd said to get something out of the Sun, that the dog had had a heart attack. I traced back to the vet, Tim, and he said, what a load of rubbish. The dog had been ill for a while and died of abdominal catastrophe on Sunday night, 24 hours after the party, because a friend of mine put some fireworks on as a surprise for my daughter, which all the village knew about and came to. And it's just like everything they write is complete rubbish.
And this was a £10,000 worth of fireworks.
Can you imagine? What a
I
lovely
can't
friend
imagine
I have.
what that would be like,
what a
actually.
Lovely friend. You've got to be joking.
And according to today's papers, it's only little snippets, so don't get too worked up about this, but you spent over £100,000 on Beatrice's 4th birthday.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Everyone came. They said I banned cameras. Everyone had their cameras. I banned mobile phones. I just have friends that don't sell their pictures to newspapers. That woman that did the story on the dog, if she's so upset, what's she standing there posing for the Sun for? The day her dogs died. You know, what I just want to do, because we're short of time, is clear up a few things. For 6 years, when I lost my leg, I was the model that overcame adversity, inspired other amputees to get on with their life. Front page of all the newspapers, you know, The Sun, Model of Courage. They serialised my book. I told my whole life story in my book. It all went to charity. The Sun had it there, out on a limb. And I talked about my glamour modelling when I was a teenager. You know, pictures of me, out, you know, like, I wanted to be the Marie Whittaker, the Linda Lusardi, the Samantha Fox. That was the thing to be in the 80s. I was a teenager. Then they eliminate now my whole 20 years of my life of campaigning and put in things like hardcore porn queen, you know, and all this disgusting stuff from my topless things. And then the poor guy who did this book called Joy for Sex basically gets this much of apology because they call his book a hardcore porn thing. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Paul knew about my glamour modelling. It was in the papers every week for the 3 years that we were engaged, and they try and say they broke up because she was a glamour model. It is such lies. It's never ended.
So what are you going to do?
I am going to basically, just like I changed the law with some like-minded people, anyone that wants to help, go to uk.com, youk.com, and you'll see how you can help and sign the petition. I need to get everybody to petition that they don't want to be lied to anymore by the press. They want their children to grow up in a society where press is just and fair, and the size of the lie that they print is the size of the apology they have to print, and they have to reveal their made-up sources and their so-called friends unless it's a criminal situation. Because they make up such lies, you know. They've called me a whore, a gold digger, a fantasist, a liar, the most unbelievably hurtful things, and I've stayed quiet for my daughter. But my daughter, we've had death threats. I've been close to suicide. So upset about this.
I know you're...
I've had worse press than a paedophile or a murderer, and I've done nothing but charity for 20 years.
Well, I actually remember you when I first started here.
I came on here talking about vegetarianism 15 years ago. I sat here and Dr. Hilary Jones said, she's crazy, she's talking about wheatgrass and giving up meat and dairy. And then they want to write that I just suddenly make up vegetarianism.
To please Paul and
to
his
please
family.
Paul. You've got footage, find it, show it. You know, it's just everyone has jumped on the bandwagon. That my sister was crying her eyes out because that awful Jordan and Peter Andre did a joke on Sunday, and I've had 6 amputee girls crying their eyes out because they're getting bullied at school because people are joking about the loss of my limb. Jonathan Ross.
Oh, I remember that one.
Says she's such an effing liar. We're going to find out she's got 2 legs instead of 1. I have protected my husband. I know everything and I know the truth. I even got an apology because the judge pushed for it when they said that my petition was a lie. And the size of the apology, we're sorry. We now accept that the judge did not throw out any of her claims. She was not portrayed as a liar in court and did not erupt with rage.
All right.
you know.
But listen, because there will be people at home
lies.
saying
so
that at the beginning, Heather, you did use the press, so that, you know, if you're going to take...
the press for anything except my charity. When did I promote a record? When did I act for anything? You know, they'll always say, publicity seeker. Look at me going to court. My pelvis is bust. You've seen the X-ray, right?
Which you had to produce because someone else said you were lying about that.
Because they put in here, Heather's pulls her leg off and, you know,
that's
talks
when you were
about her
Dancing
pelvis.
with the Stars, yeah?
My pelvis has been broken for a while, but I have months where I can walk and months when I can't, right? It pops out, but I can't spend 4 months on my back in another operation while I'm going through this. This picture on this front page was taken when the paparazzi pulled the car door open.
We can't see. I know you've got a huge...
But I'm showing it to you.
Yeah.
But this picture was taken when the paparazzi pulled the car door open, and then they say Heather tries to pull off a disability thing when I'm in a blacked out car hiding under a blanket because I knew I had to go into court and I knew they would turn around and say that she's trying to get publicity. It's fine that Paul can walk in going, hey, you're right, La. You know, and I'm hiding and I'm the one that is abused daily. I have protected Paul for this long and I'm trying to protect him, but I am being pushed to the edge. And I don't want my daughter, when she's 12, going on the internet, reading this totally one-sided story. I'm up to here with it, and my plan is to change the law in the European Parliament, and I will do it. And I'm fed up with the specific portion of the media, some of them are still supportive, but a specific portion of them that are abusing me. I will investigate each and every one of those journalists.
All right, but again, this comes from the papers, so what do I know? And whether I know it's the truth or not. And I know you can't talk too much about the divorce case.
But everyone jumps on the bandwagon.
But
makes money out of my misery.
I know, but listen, I know that, and I know you're upset, and I know you're only human, which is what people are forgetting. But during the coverage of the divorce case, they've been saying that you want 50 million, and the reason it's
I have been
stalled...
offered nothing. Okay?
Okay.
Nothing. We go to court, nothing to do with that. We go to court over my daughter. I'm not allowed to talk about it because it's a criminal act if I talk about my daughter. You have no idea what's going on. These figures are made up, 100 million, 50 million, 20 million, this million. How do you know if I even want any money? I'm £1.5 million in debt in lawyers' fees. Right. And that's as much as I can say, or I go to jail for telling the truth. So I'm gagged at the moment because I'm not allowed to say a word while the media are fed this spin by a certain corner.
All right, but then again, and as I say, I only know it from the media, so what do I know? But one of the clauses apparently in this whole divorce thing is that you want to be able to sell your story. And then again,
it's rubbish.
Right, okay.
I can sell my story right now. I'm trying to protect Paul and our daughter. I am trying, and I'm being pushed to the edge.
Are you really, where you are
18 months of abuse, worse than a murder and paedophile. 4,400 abusive articles. Look what they're doing to the McCanns. The woman has lost, and the poor father have lost their daughter. What are we doing as a nation? What are we doing persecuting a woman that is devastated behind closed doors and trying to hold it together, as I have, for 18 months? What did the paparazzi do to Diana? They chased her and they killed her. Never mind all these other stories. That is what we are doing as a nation, buying these newspapers. Every time you buy one of those, you contribute to it. Right. So force a change, that responsible journalism. You know, Rupert Murdoch, when he bought that newspaper, is quoted as saying, I can't believe how easy it was to get in the British media. I can't believe it. And I promise you, I will always give you honest and straightforward journalism. Nothing like it.
All right. Well, listen, and I know you're upset, and I can understand
And they
why.
will go for me tomorrow, and they'll go, she's crazy, and she's this, and she's that. Go for it, because I will do even more.
All right. Well, listen, hopefully you'll stay here for a bit more as well, because we've got to go to a break now.
I'm sorry I got upset,
No,
but I'm so up to here. You imagine being persecuted for that long.
I don't know what you think when you hear the name Heather Mills, but from how the media has portrayed Heather, I think a lot of us would think she's hard, she's gold digger, she married a Beatle just for the fame it would bring her, does TV shows like Dancing with the Stars to get more attention. And
think of one thing, since you've known me, since I came here 14 years, one thing that I've done that hasn't been for charity. 80% of my money goes to charity. And that's why people want to have a go at me. Because I think, well, that can't be possible. Why would anyone do that? What's the matter with her? Why doesn't she just go and have lunch? So they try and make up articles saying she's gone and spent $1 million of Paul's money, these crazy things. And all I'd done is gone to see my friend in the hairdressers, because they had the logo Giorgio Armani behind, no shopping bags in my hand. Heather's gone on a huge shopping spree. I would never buy from designer stores except Stella's, because they use fur. You know?
Do you think fighting the press can actually stop some of this now? And this fight, I mean, you can't
I'm not
take on
fighting
the
the
whole
press.
can
I'm
you?
going to the European Parliament. I'm going to change the law like I did with a group of like-minded people, where they have to have responsible journalism. They've pushed so many people over the edge, extraordinary people that have written to me. Look at Hillsborough. Look at them saying they looted the pockets of the dead bodies. When they're trying to find IDs to find out who they are, they urinated, you know, all over them.
But you're taking on such a massive battle
But
here
what do
at
you
such
do?
a stressful time.
I live in a prison. I live in a prison, right? I have to fight back, otherwise I'll go insane.
All right, and you've got pictures of the sort of stuff you have to go through every day, don't you, with the paparazzi?
That's the only reason I've filmed.
Which are about, and there you are in Brighton. And what's going on here, Heather?
Basically, this is over a period of like 6 months. They follow me all the time. And, you know, they're trying to hack down my fence, saying, here he goes, this guy tried to hack down my fence. And they're following me persistently, so I had to let my daughter go out with my friend, and I went out another way. And they've got no licenses. One of the guys in this, the one that I just had convicted for assault, which they thought I wouldn't follow through to the end, he had 132 convictions. 132 convictions, and he's hired with no licence. They have to be licensed. Because how do I know when someone's sitting outside my house they're a stalker or not?
So listen, you say your life's like living in a prison.
It is living in a prison. I am living in the only respite that I got was going to America. I did Dancing with the Stars because our charity has been so damaged, we needed the money. You know, I was the only person on the show that gave the money to the charity, and then they want to turn that into something awful, like Get Lost Mucker, says the Sun.
I know.
You know,
Heather's got a whole file here of cuttings that
I've got 4,000, Mucker Cha-Cha. You're calling me Mucker for doing glamour modelling. Do you know what I mean? And they say it's hardcore porn.
Well, listen, you talk about the USA there, and you say that was the only light in a very small tunnel.
That was the only light that I had.
Would you consider leaving the country, or can you not do
I
that?
would live in America in 2 seconds, but I keep my daughter here to be close to her father. I compromise everything. I do. You cannot imagine what I've done to compromise things.
And do you honestly, I mean, you came in here and said you fear for your life and for Beatrice's
The police came
life.
round. And this is why I'm speaking about this now, and I have a box of evidence that is going to a certain person should anything happen to me. So if you top me off, it's still going to go to that certain person, and the truth will come out. There is such a fear from a certain party of the truth coming out that lots of things have been put out and done. So the police came round and they said, you have serious death threats from an underground movement. And I was like, you're joking? And they said, no, they're serious. Here's the 999 number. I never rang the 999 number. I always rang the 08 if there was a 45 number. And then the press write, you know, Heather's crying wolf with 999 calls. The police came to me to tell me I had death threats and that I had to be careful. That means my daughter's life is at risk because she's with me all the time. Could I get security? No. Did I have to go to the bank and borrow it? Yes. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting that I'm put. Who created those death threats? The media, a certain part of the tabloid media, created such a hate campaign against me that they put my life and my daughter's life at risk. And that's why I considered killing myself. Because I thought, if I'm dead, she's safe and she can be with her father. And that is the truth. That's the truth.
All right, Heather.
I'm sick of it.
All right, we'll leave it there. We can see how sick of it you are. I mean, you're really at
and
the
I've
edge
got
of...
nothing to lose.
And have you got friends who are helping you? I mean, how are you getting
I
through
have.
this?
I had 300 friends come to my daughter's party. They are biting their tongues not to talk because they're so loyal. Even a journalist said to my publicist, her friends are so loyal, we can't even get them to say a word. Whereas other people's so-called friends are putting stuff out left, right and centre.
Well, thanks for coming in. I hope you feel a bit better now you've got all that off your chest.
I do, and I just hope everyone goes on to uk.com and starts taking responsibility for what we're going to feed our children for the next 20 years. We don't want them to live in a celebrity culture unless that celebrity is going to be used to make a difference in life on the finite amount of seconds we have left on this planet.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in.